Welcome to another session of Wing Chun. The camera is down low so that you can see my Yi Ji Kim Yang Ma stance and practice. It's not just a dead stance. Yes, this is the stance, and this is how far we've gone. But it's not just a dead stance. Like I said, we want to be able to do from 5 minutes to graduate to sit in the stance for about half an hour until you become comfortable in this stance. Once you're comfortable sitting in this stance for half an hour, then you can start doing a lot of other things. Mainly is that how would I say, the stance is not something that you begin a fight in. As you see, a lot of people start doing this before there's any kind of contact. They start doing this already before there's any contact with anybody. So that's completely wrong. I'm going to sit in the stance for here because picture a shock absorber. Okay, if you want to install a shock absorber onto your car's suspension, it wouldn't be good if the shock is already compressed and then it stays compressed. So when you put the shock on the suspension of the car and you ride in the car and the car is doing this, and it wouldn't be good because the shock is already compressed. So what's the point, right? See, the point is you want the shock to compress, to give you the action of the shock compressing. And then you want the shock to then rebound back to its original extended state of extension. You don't want to have a shock that's already compressed, then stays compressed. So if you have a shock that is compressed and stays compressed, and you install it on your car, it would be terrible. So this is the same as the stance. The stance is so that you can use it so that when you're talking to somebody, okay, you have to think of this as a self-defense. Okay, so you're not already in the position to fight. People are going to hit you when you're not ready. So you're going to stand here normally, and suddenly you get a hit. You get a push, and then now I'm in the stance. So you get a push. Oh, what is this? Oh, Wing Chun stance. So that's how we use the stance in real life. You're standing there, and then you get a pressure coming at you. You lift up your hand, or it comes to your body, and then you go from standing straight all of a sudden into the Wing Chun stance. But then you don't stay in the Wing Chun stance because you cannot be a statue in a fighting situation. So what you do is you go into Wing Chun stance and then you come back out to attack. So you're standing there normally and suddenly you go in and then you come back out. You go in and you come back out. So we're getting this repeating idea in practice of, you focus, in practice where you're standing normally and you go into Wing Chun stance and then you come back out. So you could practice from going regular stance, all of a sudden into Wing Chun stance, and then stand back up. Wing Chun stance, 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 stand back up. Obviously, when you get up, you have to move. When you go into the Wing Chun Stance, you can either move forward, or you go into Wing Chun Stance and you move backwards, which I don't have room right now. So Wing Chun Stance, Wing Chun Stance, stand back up and advance. So you're going to be doing a lot of these motions, standing normally, any position. Like I said, you're picking your nose. Wing Chun Stance, stand back up. 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 So you're doing these as exercises. Why do we go back? Because when you get a force somewhere here or here, you're not in your stance. So you do need your Wing Chun stance to be compressed. So you need to go into your Wing Chun stance, and then once you have the base, once you connect it, their force into your arm, and then the force going into your legs and into your heel. Once it goes into your heel, it's compressed. Once you compress, and also you root because you bend your knees. When you bend your knees, you're rooting and you're directing your gravity lower so that you don't get toppled over. And now once you get compressed, then it allows you to then return that power back to them. Okay? So to return back to them, I'll just do it very slowly. You're standing here normally. You see something coming at you, so you lift up your arm, or you get punched or pushed, or it's in your arm, the pressure. It doesn't matter which. As soon as that happens, you go back. So if it's here, you let it go back. Because if there's nothing there, then it doesn't affect you. Okay, there's nothing for them to fight with. If there's nothing there, he cannot push you over. So that's why you have to reprogram yourself to give initially. People can't get that right. People, as soon as they feel some pressure, right away they want to go forward. They want to stiffen up. They want to go forward. The main thing in Wing Chun is we try to reprogram your natural instincts. This is your natural instinct to fight against it. But it's very hard, but we try to reprogram your instinct so that at first contact, you don't fight against it, you take it. You take the pressure, but you redirect that pressure now. So I'm standing straight, I get pressure here. It could be a punch with the arm blocking. It could be a punch here, whatever it is. We take that pressure and we go like this. So notice the shoulder goes back and then down. So it doesn't go back like this. It's going in a circular motion. It goes back and down. As it goes back and down, now you're making that force going from here to here to here. See? So when you do this, that force that's coming at you gets redirected from there. As soon as you kneel, when you do this, that force comes in to your knees and then down to your ankles and into the ground. Once it gets down to the ground, you're solid. Now your spring, your shock absorber is compressed to the max. Now it's compressed to the max. Now you have the ability to return that pressure back at them. So then once you go down, you thrust your thigh and your hip again, down, and then you thrust your hip and up, and then out comes the punch or the block back at them, returning that energy to you and then to them again. Of course, I'm showing you an exaggerated movement, and I'm exaggerating every turn and twist of my spine and my arm. Once you get better, then you don't really need to exaggerate that much of this movement. And once you get better, then I don't even know if I'm at that stage, but once you get better, as soon as you get the pressure on your arm, then right away you are able to withstand that pressure, and right away if they put more pressure, it starts to feel like you're like a wall. And then at any time you can easily move forward and give back that pressure at them. So that's at a later stage. And but in practice, I want to exaggerate the movement so that you would see where the power goes. So it's very, very little. Once you do better, your power and your structure and your stance is going to be right there. No matter how you stand normally, you're supposed to know how to, right away, as soon as there's contact, you could easily return that force back at them.
So to see if you're getting the pressure correctly and directing your weight properly, here's my baseline of 136 pounds. I know wind can blow me away. So you stand here on the scale and you're pushing. I'm pushing up against the door, as you can see, and you can see how many more pounds that I managed to exert. Here's 138.9 pounds from 136. It works better if you got an old-fashioned scale, but with the digital scale, it only works momentarily. Oh, 142. I think that's my best. I'm doing this with one arm because the other arm I'm holding my camera. The scale is kind of slippery, so if I push too hard, I could be sliding the scale backwards, or if I push too hard, I'll just start pushing myself backwards. So it's very hard. I'm trying to direct as much as possible of the weight that I'm pushing into my feet. So here I'm hitting 140, settling on 139.4. So I just keep doing this, and try to remember your posture and the way you are sitting in the stance. See, 139.6. So I know that I try to remember that if I'm pushing around 140 or above, then I'm doing it right, then I'm redirecting the pressure from a horizontal pressure from my arm into a downwards pressure into the weight. So here the last one was 104, around 140. So that's how you practice.
The other thing is that, remember the cow chasa being a natural defense. Okay? Now, I'm going to illustrate how is this a natural defense. When you get a push here, notice my forearm. You see? You have to unconsciously make this reaction as a default muscle reaction. Whenever you get something, a pressure, you see, that's kind of natural. Your arm just comes up. Okay? So that is coupled with the bending of the knees. And you help it just a little bit. And then you stop in the middle. Next thing you know, you have your Wu Sao. So this is going to deflect whenever you get something here, whether if it's a punch that you're blocking or a punch that's right to your core. And as you sit in your stance, this hand just comes out naturally. So this is the Cao Cha Sao, but without the other hand. It's just the one hand. And the same as the other side. So on the side, if you want to see this, so there you have it. This is the way that you should practice your stance. It's not a dead stance. Once you get the half an hour stance, then you need to practice going into the stance and then giving the shoulders or the hand, making this a natural. Of course, when you do this hand's already hitting. In actual practice, when this happens, because this is going back, when this goes back, this hand is already on the attack as this comes up. So it's already like that. And that should be something that defaults into your muscle memory. Okay? So, practice going into the stance and coming back up, into the stance and coming back up, into your stance, coming back up, up, punch, and then keep moving, keep advancing. Okay, obviously when you advance, you don't advance like this. You want to advance like this so that you still have your base underneath when you advance. Okay, so stay safe, wear a mask, and see you next time. This would be, I guess, part 4. Bye.